You're entering Corsi Nation.
It's Dr. Jerome Corsi. Today it's Thursday. It's June 12th, 2025. Thanks for joining us here on CorsiNation.com. And you can follow us on X at CorsiJerome1 and also on Substack, JeromeCorsiPhD.substack.com. Okay, now there's quite a bit going on today in terms of these riots. And Chris, why don't you come on? We'll have a discussion about it. We're still seeing in Los Angeles chaos going on. And do we have any new clips or anything? It's pretty much the same as we've seen before. You know, it's these mobs in the street, and they are actually quite violent. Of course, the media is going to want to say the mostly nonviolent. That's their lying, narrative for the day. So, anything happened yesterday on Wednesday that was different or spectacular? I mean, they're trying to. I see in Chicago there's a whole big parade. They're blocking highways and doing things of that nature. And I guess on Saturday we have this No Kings protest. Is that right?
It's a nationwide protest. Of course, it winds up the same day as the Armed Forces Parade, which the media is spinning as a birthday parade for Donald Trump, and getting all the suckers to believe everything. That's what we're finding out.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's all about Orange Man bad, and they don't like Donald Trump. So anything Donald Trump does is, and so they don't like cutting the money because these NGOs have been funding, and I want to cover that pretty thoroughly here today. These NGOs, non-government organizations, the scam has been that they find ways. The Democrats, who are really insurrectionists now, they became communist, and now they're just fully insurrectionists. Here, let's look at this. So here's a protester throwing things at police, and immediately somebody's tackling him. Body tackles him pretty hard. And
I gotta watch this again.
Yeah, let's watch this one again.
Nice. This kind of thing has to happen. Regular people have to start fighting back against these people.
Yeah, I have to start saying no more of this nonsense. And DeSantis is out saying if you feel harassed in your car, you can run over these people. If they're attacking you and making you feel insecure, you can't be a victim here and just stay in your car and be panicked to death while they mob you and try to get in the car and hurt you. These people these are the insurrectionists. And under the Biden administration, certainly you saw they were let to do whatever they wanted to do. I mean, they were just, and certainly Obama in 2020 did nothing to stop them. And so therefore this was wildly nonsense that they were allowed to do whatever they wanted to do. I mean, I can't, Obama by 2016, let's just say 2016, when Obama was in office, it started with these George Floyd and other riots which developed in the 2020s. And so they have a style where they can get a black victim. That was one of the major Obama ideas, black victim. And then you get the mobs out in the street. And of course, the mobs are then considered to be righteous because as Martin Luther King protested against racism, none of which it was. This is all concocted theater. You get somebody who's on drugs, George Floyd, and resisting police and all kinds of other things. The police are the ones who are the victims in these cases. And the police dare to defend themselves, they could risk ruining their careers. So you have queued up something here. What is this one?
Well, this is funny. CNN, a reporter is hoping that Eric Adams will side with them, as there were major problems in New York recently as well. And you got to hear this.
Yeah, 86 arrests in New York during the protests last night. Let's hear it.
Yeah, let's play some of this, and you'll find out the reporter is kind of shocked a bit to hear what Adams has to say.
Mayor, I want to ask you about the city council pushing for an investigation into whether the NYPD has shared sealed records with ICE, what could be a violation of local law. Can you confirm whether the NYPD or any other local agency is collaborating with federal immigration enforcement?
We've made it clear over and over again that we will not collaborate with any agencies when it comes to civil enforcement. The law does not allow us to do that, but we will collaborate when it comes down to criminal enforcement. And it's unfortunate that the city council chooses to use their power to find out if there's any collaboration instead of really advocating for going after those who commit serious crimes, acts of violence, not only on New Yorkers, but also on migrants and asylum seekers, forcing women into prostitution, selling drugs, shooting at police officers, assault.
Look at the sadness on this reporter's face.
Oh yeah, the reporter is suffering this. He thought he was going to get another support in favor of the criminal illegal immigrants who are terrorizing New York, and of course these are the people he wants to have his new downtrodden. I mean, the Democrats, communist insurrectionists, traitors, have gotten so desperate to find they've gone through the blacks. The blacks have seen that they're doing nothing for the blacks. The Spanish are seeing that. So now they're down to supporting the illegal criminal immigrants. I hope these guys do more of that. I mean, who's going to listen to this jerk from CNN trying to say, oh, the nasty police and nasty city council working with ICE to get rid of mother rapers, father rapers, baby raper killers who are illegally here. Now, who's going to have sympathy with the mother rapers, father rapers, baby rapers?
Well, I'm sure CNN is waiting it out for the next election. So somebody a little more namby-pamby towards these people, the illegals, the criminal illegals, that is, gets into office.
So we can have more destruction of America.
Exactly.
So we can tear up our cities, and we can have more Antifa and Black Lives Matter. They can paint BLM in yellow in the city streets, and we can have burning down of federal buildings. That would really please CNN, wouldn't it?
I think they'd be very happy with it. It was. Did you watch the other day? There was an ABC report where a reporter was talking about they're showing the riots and going, well, and these people were just having fun watching cars burn, and then they get harassed.
Yeah, watching cars burn.
I think I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but he did say having fun watching cars burn.
Yeah, well, I mean, the problem was, I remember seeing one of the videos where the guy trying to torch a car ended up torching himself.
That was funny.
Yeah, he spilled all the and these guys are coming around with inflammatory, fire starters to make the fires burn faster and harder. And of course, if they get a EV, it's going to burn for a long time. It's going to be very hard to put out because these lithium batteries just burn forever, and they're not put out by water. So you've got a whole situation here where the radical Democratic left, Maxine Waters, flying out to LA to be, let me into this building. I want to see the city council. I want to do as if she's a heroine. But all she's doing is supporting insurrection violence in the streets. And I think Americans aren't going to put up with this. I think we're sick of it. I'm certainly sick of it. Here you have another. What is this one? This should look like
Philadelphia. But watch
Philadelphia.
this.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're allowed to fight back a little bit here, and the police are trying to stop him. It's going to be very difficult for them to keep order on Saturday, but it's been bad enough during the week. And this is Philadelphia right now. It's going to be all.
Somebody resists arrest like this,
right,
and is violent. Well, okay, the police are going to take him down, and then they're going to handcuff him behind his back, and they're going to take him away. And if the guy's violent, if he's not going to resist arrest, if he's going to resist arrest, they're going to see that it's not cute, it's not fun anymore. This is not under the 2020 election where you can just basically, you're trying to get rid of Donald Trump in office, and so therefore you can tear down and destroy Portland, Oregon, and nobody's going to stop you. You're not going to be arrested. If you're arrested, you're going to be let go.
One of the more fun memes is this one. You've seen this one.
The ICE detention centers everywhere. It's just an ICE chest for buying ice. It's an ICE detention center.
The Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and getting scared.
Yeah, well, they are beginning to ridicule her for being so stupid. She's about as bright as a snapping turtle.
Well, she's not as smart as Fetterman, that I can tell you.
Yeah, well, Fetterman's kind of wised up a little bit. Okay, so now we're seeing I guess there were protests in Chicago. Maybe we can find a picture or two of those. but we'll move on here in a minute. I
Yeah,
want
I don't think you can tell the difference between crime and the protests in Chicago. That could be a tough one. I can give you Seattle.
to give me Seattle. Let's do Seattle.
There we go.
Another hotbed of leftist insanity.
All right, let's go. Let's go to the videotape for Seattle here. A lot of garbage happening here.
Burning in the street.
Yep.
They love to burn.
This is an insurrection in a lot of ways. The stopping of ICE detainees. Again, they're stopping ICE detainees, and I want to make sure this is important for everybody to know here. They're stopping ICE detainees from getting rid of illegal immigrant rapists, murderers, armed robbers, child traffickers, and human sex traffickers.
Yeah, and also looting and everything else.
Exactly. The looters are the American citizens in there. I'm pretty sure there's Americans doing most of the looting.
Well, again, all these things are just amazingly. Hold on one second.
I do believe these protesters are more attracted to these areas because there isn't a shower area to be in sight, so they don't have to worry about that sort of thing. They just spray on patchouli every 3 days to hide the scent. Or they stay outside and camp out in these places. They don't have to shower, and they love that stuff.
Well, look at this whole thing is to be just insanity to see them out like this, and so I may have to be on a call here in a minute. It looks like let's cover this next story, which is it's covered on Zero Hedge that the Patel is saying that FBI Director Patel is saying that they're going to go after the funding, the left NGOs who are behind these anti-ICE riots. Well, a good one to have, and I've been trying to get this information to them, is we have a whistleblower here, Sean Taylor, who has shown how Act Blue is engaged in taking money from fentanyl on the border and the like, and going forward with child sex trafficking. And what we're finding is here a situation that has got the money coming into NGOs through getting it out of the banks, out of TD Bank in particular, by buying houses and taking millions of dollars of loans on the houses that aren't really booked as loans. There's money flowing out, and that money goes into NGOs, and those NGOs are insurrectionists. Here's a guy with a motorcycle that being shown on Zero Hedge and what they're doing. Yeah, all these NGOs, you've got it here that I'd like to see that one, the No Kings rally, and which NGOs are behind it. That's really the Teachers Foundation, ACLU, ACLU behind it, Albuquerque Teachers Foundation. All these people have federal money of one kind or another, or non-tax deferred money, and they're using it for insurrection. Okay, and that's gonna have to stop. And if we don't get this stopped, we're gonna find that we're really in a situation of chaos, and Donald Trump is not going to tolerate it for very long. And so what we're doing here is just creating a situation where Donald Trump is going to have no choice but to jump in and bring the military to bear in order to get this stopped. And I think it's going to be all these American civil liberties unions funding it. Well, again, there's a whole series of Act Blue NGOs. I'm trying to get this information to Kash Patel today, and we'll make efforts here to make sure that they pay attention to us when we get involved into it. Okay, I'm going to have to make this one an abbreviated podcast today because I'm traveling, and it's simply I've got too many things going on traveling. So I'm going to cover a couple more stories. Yeah, look at all these: Tides Foundation, Tennessee Democratic Network. These are things that if they're funding insurrection, then these need to be investigated for criminal activity. You've got to take the money away. If they don't have money, they can't do the protesting. Massachusetts Peace Action Fund, the Indivisible Project. Indivisible was one of their major whole themes. Ground Game LA, All of these are fed into money, and the money is dirty money. The money is coming from drugs, it's coming from child sex labor. We can prove all this, and we're going to start writing about it and getting the information out there. It's just to me, it's appalling how little this has been reported and how little it's been investigated. And clearly, the mainstream media couldn't care less. They have no interest in this whatsoever. But it's when you see these bionic shield masks, and Chris, maybe we have a little video that bionic shield masks coming out. I can give you a link here to show some of the pictures of it. But I'm going to do that right now. Here's the bionic shield masks. And let's do this, and we'll wrap it up with this today. I apologize for doing a little bit of abbreviated, but at least we're doing some coverage of the riots going on, which is, I think, the major theme. The other theme I will end on in a minute after we show this here in the link. I want them to see these bionic masks and how prepared these riots are. They get delivered everything they need in order to have a riot. It's a typical make a riot scheme. And the left is good at this. I think it's despicable, but the left is good at it. Okay, so here they've got these bionic masks coming out, boxes of them coming out from behind a pickup truck. Well, somebody paid for all that. Somebody paid for those masks to be out there. They're trying to avoid electronic detection or detection of their identities. Where they're going to be finding out is that they're going to be, there you go. Now, with the ability we're going to have pretty soon of all the biometrics, you're going to find that these people are going to be able to be caught. There's going to be lots of ways to catch them and track them down. And these technologies are going to be inevitably here. Now, I made the point, I'm continuing to make the point. These rioters are just the stooges for the New World Order crowd. They love to have the disruption, the disorder, because then you get more law enforcement, you get more suppression of freedoms, get more constant surveillance, and they're going for a society in which we readily march into our own self-detention. 15-minute cities, all the other things these nutcases have planned. The idea is really to extinguish the human race so that we can be transhuman. Well, that's not God's idea. That's a satanic idea. It goes back to the Garden of Eden, Satan saying, well, God really messed up here, but if you follow me, I can get this perfect. Well, this place is never going to be perfect. It was not designed to be perfect. It's not a permanent place. And people don't understand the very nature of what our experiences here, which is trial, travail, difficulties, veil of tears. It's been called all kinds of difficulties here in the human existence. And human existence is not meant to be ideal or perfect, meant to come to an end. We die. Okay, but in death there is salvation. And that was the message of Jesus Christ. His message was not here to save the poor or to be rioting in the streets or saying no kings. His message was that this is an experience in which it's a test of us, of our allegiance to God, our willingness to honor the fact of our existence and acknowledge a higher authority and to live accordingly. Well, these people are the exact opposite, and judged by the fruit of their trees, what they do, you can see chaos, destruction, evil, anger, hate. This is not about ending racism. This is not Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King was nonviolent. He preached nonviolence. He preached he was marching for equal rights, not for privileged rights. He wasn't DEI. Martin Luther King had nothing about DEI. This was simply to end discrimination, which in the 1950s, 1960s was real in America. Okay, but here you've got these people with their their Antifa scarves, they're Palestinians and hate Jews and all the rest of it. Well, what they're going to find is law enforcement's going to come in and they're going to be arrested and they're going to go to prison for a long time because these are criminal acts. And the destruction of our cities are criminal acts. So therefore, we're in a situation right now where justice is going to be done. In the end, God always wins. God's going to win here too. It's Dr. Jerome Corsi. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow on CorsiNation.com with podcasts every weekday. And tomorrow we'll review the violence and the street chaos that goes on Thursday, June 12th, 2025. Thanks for joining us. God bless.